This injustice will not be sustained. The pursuit for justice. Your refusal to accept and treat my petition before the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges and Abuse of my privileges, and I say forth that this matter is not sub judice, it is not before the court. The matter before the court is on the defamation and cyberbullying statements made by your special assistant on new media, Mr. Patrick Umfom, who addressed my decent outfits as transparent, thereby depicting that I walk sedulously and naked to the chambers. That is the nature of the petition, of the case in court. This petition, sir, has never been filed. The petition that alleges, or should I say, accuses you of making sexual harassment moves, abusing your office, and making malicious obstructions to my legislative functions, has not been tendered anywhere before, no courts in Nigeria. So, sir, I would appreciate if you kindly accept my petition and forward same to the Ethics and Privileges Committee so it could be treated. Thank you, sir.
Will jealously stamp its feet with a view to jealously guarding and protecting the sacred provisions of our rules. Our rules clearly state in a very clear and unambiguous language.
The same Senator Mongodo, I would like you to read the rule you are talking about. I'm sure even our colleagues who are here to observe the proceedings also have their rules in their parliament.
Thank you.
So read the provision.
Yes, I'm just laying foundation for what for my ultimate destination. And my ultimate destination is that our rules in very clear and unambiguous terms in Rule 40 and specifically Rule 7 states that Senate should not receive or deliberate on any matter to which actions are pending in any court of law. And for your information, Mr. President, distinguished senators, this matter is sub judice before our court. The petitioner, Senator Natasha, has gone to court in respect of this matter, and also the wife of the Senate President has equally gone to court in respect of this matter. So,
may only be presented to the Senate by a senator who shall affix his or her name at the beginning thereof. The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements. And I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please you, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition. Thank you.
You may proceed. Distinguished colleagues, this petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct, Ethics and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate as soon as practicable.
Petition.
Any other petition? Yes.
To know that political as this matter can be, we cannot be emotional about it. We are guided by two things. Actually, three different things. We are guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, Section 60 of which says we shall regulate our procedure. Secondly, we are guided by the rules of this Senate. Section 40 Section 40, subsection 4, of which also says, no senator shall personally sign a petition to be laid before this Senate. It's not about committee on ethics. It's not about waiting for the committee to take a decision. It's about whether this matter is ripe to be referred to the committee. Mr. Senate President, you were being emotional because you didn't want to be seen as trying to stop this allegation. That was why you even allowed it to be referred. The Senate erred by referring it to the court. Is not competent to stand before the Senate. That is the issue. It was signed by the most distinguished Senator Natasha Akpabio, for whom I have a lot of respect. We cannot rewrite our rules because of anyone, and we'll be setting a dangerous precedent. Number 3, other than constitution and the rules, the Senate is guided by customs and conventions, parliamentary customs and conventions. In all of this, Mr. President, this petition cannot stand for 2 reasons. 1, the issues and allegations of sexual harassment are already issued before the court. And 2, because it is defective. The petition is defective and it's in violation of Order 40, subsection 4 of our rules. And in view of this, Mr. President, I just want to say that there is no way we can accept this petition. And having said this, Mr. President, may I then most respectfully, since you have said we should go to the next order of the day, may I then respectfully urge our colleagues that we proceed to an executive session.
The Senate leader's observations are noted. You've not moved a formal motion to that. But sorry, before you go there, I don't want to appear to have shut out any senator.
Yes, sir.
Senator Cyril Fassi.
Yes, sir. I am coming.
Wishes to announce that he has been inundated with calls since the 28th day of February 2025 over some spurious allegations making the rounds in the social media and on television about a purported harassment of the distinguished Senator Natasha Akpabio. While I am aware that the matters are in court, however, I would like to state clearly that at no time did I ever attempt any sexual harassment on the said distinguished Senator Akpabio or any other woman, for that matter. I and my siblings were raised very well by my late single mother. She died in year 2000, through very difficult times, and I therefore have the highest regards for women. Even at demise, I still cry till today. I also wish to state that I also have 4 beautiful daughters. So at no time will I ever harass any woman, and I've never done so. In addition, even as a state governor, I was awarded various awards. One of them was the one you wish to know, the most gender-friendly governor in Nigeria. I served between 2007 and 2015. To God be the glory. In conclusion, I urge all Nigerians, particularly the media, and then, of course, the members of the social media, to await the court's decision. And please do not jump to conclusions on matters of mere allegations. I want to thank you for listening to me and thank my colleagues, because some of the phone calls were calls of support, solidarity, and prayers that the Almighty God will step in to vindicate the just. So now let us get on with the business of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Ahmed Lawan, I represent here North. Mr. President, the latter part of number 6 talks of withdrawal of all security details for the duration of our suspension. Mr. President, I want to believe that we still feel we are one, and any injury to any of us should be injury to all. I believe withdrawal of security aids at this moment from a senator is not the best way to go. And we should not really create a precedence where the moment something happens with a member of the National Assembly, the security agencies will say withdraw the security aids. Because this could be a problem to us later. So I just want us to reflect on this. Thank you.
Well, if your security is given to you as a leverage to your being a senator, then there will be no need for them to hang around with you when you are no longer a senator. In other words, if you are no longer a president of the Senate, you cannot continue to sit in the car of the president of the Senate. I was with you in the villa the day you declared support for me, and I saw you off as a sign of respect as the outgoing Senate president. When we got to the vehicle, you just pointed out and said, "This will be withdrawn from me tomorrow. I will come to your house." After you win. so if you are telling me that, assuming I had failed that day, would that vehicle come to my house?
Well, Mr. Senate President, I don't want it to be like I'm trying to make a case, but I believe that this is a suspended senator, not someone who ceases to be a senator. It's suspension.
But without arguing with you,
that is my case. Yes.
Without arguing with you, let me remind you, you are a landlord in the Senate or in the National Assembly. Do you remember a senator that was called Zarafin? A distinguished senator who was one of the richest people in southeastern Nigeria. And when he entered into the Senate, he carried along on his shoulders his wealth.
Mr. President, for this opportunity that you have given to me to make a few remarks about what is on the table before all of us. Distinguished colleagues, I know how senators have been feeling about the subject of discussion today. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am sure that all of us are very well aware of the efforts that were made to avoid today. And so I want to say, on behalf of myself and my colleagues on this side of the aisle, that we feel very sad that this thing is coming from this side. I would have loved that it is coming from this side. Mr. President, I want to say without any fear of contradiction that it is very, very unfortunate that it has come this way. Like I said, all efforts were made to avoid what is happening today. We are members of the minority on this side. But we are also senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we have our rules. And as chronologically put together here, there is no doubt that there has been a breach of our rules. And breaches of rules and laws definitely come with consequences. These are the consequences that have been put very clearly here, that ordinarily would have been avoided. Mr. President, we are not against the report. Mr. President, I want to remind all of us that we are all Nigerians. And as Nigerians, we have the tradition encapsulated in the sage that if you beat your child with the right hand, you draw that child with the left hand. We therefore say that this Senate is aware that even in our homes, we have very recalcitrant children. We don't drive these children away from the house. So we keep begging them to be of good behavior. Sometimes we beat them too. And so today we are faced with this situation that we all know impinges on the integrity of this institution, that is ordinarily the highest lawmaking institution in Nigeria. And so the expectation of many Nigerians is that we must demonstrate the highest level of integrity. And it starts with obeying our rules. Having said that, Mr. President, from this side of the aisle, we want to plead that while implementing these recommendations that will be approved by the Senate, or is most likely to be approved by the Senate, if it is convenient for the Senate and Mr. President, now that even the committee has given a window of possible mitigation of this sentence, we want to ask if it is convenient for the Senate and Mr. President that the 6 months punishment for suspension be reduced to 3 months. I say this with all with all sense of responsibility, but I think that with what has been canvassed here and the unanimity of senators on the gravity of these incidents, on the integrity of this institution, that 3 months is sufficient for some level of restitution. That 3 months will be enough for our sister and us here to reflect, to circumspect, and agree. And going forward, having admitted that we are one family in this Senate before, that we will continue to remain the one family that we have adopted for ourselves in the past, believing that Nigerians are looking up to us for laws and checks that bring succor to the ordinary Nigerian. I think that, as unfortunate as it is, this distraction is avoidable. And after today, Mr. President, I hope very sincerely that all of us will put hands together to ensure that we abide by the rules of the Senate, that we conform ourselves and focus ourselves very, very sensibly on the reasons why we are here, to make laws for this country, to attract benefits to our constituencies, and ensure that Nigerians benefit from good governance. Mr. President, I thank you for this opportunity.
Me in the 8th Senate, and I never harassed her. Distinguished Senator Uche Kunive, who also served with him. I even went to her house when she was having a chieftaincy title. I think I've visited your home more than once or twice, and there was no time I harassed you. And I have a distinguished Senator Stella Odoi, and my Amazon, who was with me in the minority leadership in the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Biodun Olujimi, herself, a former deputy governor of the state. These are women very close to my heart. I congratulate all of you. The President of the National Council of Women's Societies, my dear sister Naobi, representing all the other fighters for the rights of women in Nigeria. My sister, who has refused to tell the truth, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, my distinguished sister Iman. You only mentioned that the Senate, under my leadership as chairman of National Assembly, increased the budget of your ministry by 1,000%. Am I right? 1,000%. That's the only thing she mentioned. But she did not mention to you that when she appeared to defend the budget, before the Senate, it was a woman who walked her out. It was a female senator who walked her out. That she did not come prepared. That the other male senators pleaded with the female senator that they should allow her to present the budget. She had another function to go for Mr. President in Lagos, but the female senator insisted that the way she started was disrespectful to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that she needed to walk out of the venue. All pleas and entreaties ended on deaf ears, and she cried out of the Senate on that day. I had to call her to tell her that that does not represent us. And the woman that walked her out of that committee was the distinguished Senator Natasha. She didn't want to go personal. But you see, we are talking about character. So for me, I just want to point out that your attitude determines your altitude. I'm saying this because I saw a lot of Yokopas up there. One day we'll have a female as Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You know, Crystal Magnum, who falsely accused 3 Duke University lecturers, lacrosse players, lost her lawsuit against the 3 men and had to apologize. And this was said to have happened in 2006 in the United States of America. Our women must rise above pettiness. At the news, National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies. Last year, as soon as I came in as the Senate President, I directed and we convoked a conference on women in governance. That was in August 2023. And then we instituted and created a division in the Institute known as Gender Inclusivity Unit, essentially to support the drive for inclusivity as a major project for women in Nigeria to be included in the politics of this country and in all areas, fields of human endeavor. The 9th Senate had about 9 senators out of 109. But the 10th Senate has just 4 women out of 109. As we celebrate this Women's Day, we must ask ourselves, how come the number is depleting despite the advocacy instead of increasing? I know my sister and NOP did not want to go into details, but certain things are avoidable. We must look inwards. Women should not always weaponize the agenda. It is not in all instances that you use your gender as a major weapon for sentiments, as a weapon for pity. I have 4 daughters. I have a wife. And I was raised by a woman who lost her husband at the age of 22. My late mother died in the year 2000. And she was the only father I knew. She raised me well. She raised me well. I cried for over 1 year when she was gone. I don't want to, if I speak too much now, many of you will say that I'm saying I had no shoe. So I'm not going to go into that. But just to say that sometimes when I watch television or social media, I will turn and ask my wife, are they talking about me? And then she will say, I don't know, I can't tell. I'm just listening to them. My daughters know how caring a father I am. My wife knows how loving a husband I am. I won an award as the most women-friendly governor in Nigeria. It was not for nothing. I appointed the first female deputy governor in my state when I was a state governor. I appointed 3 chief judges of my state, and they were all women. All of them were women. I created opportunities for women in my cabinet, many of them, and even in the House of Assembly. The chief whip was a woman. So many of them. The deputy speaker. Then here I am. The head of service was a woman. The 2 that I appointed were all women. Then I come to federal level. I work with my colleagues who are here, who can testify. And my sister, Marcy, which sounds Igbo-ish. She can testify. We used to call her the paragon and the beauty of the 8th Senate. But at no time was she ever molested. She was never harassed. In fact, if anybody were to harass her, she is the one that would have harassed me. Because by the time you win election to the Senate, you are almost a man. And you come there to defend the rights of the girl child, children in secondary school and in universities who are being daily molested by lecturers. As a student union leader, I had occasion to walk into a professor's office and then warn the professor that you see what will happen if so-so girl does not pass your course. And after passing the girl, he will come down to see me, called me out of the class and said, go and ask her. She had B+. I said, why didn't you give her A? So, because they threaten girls, sometimes they will write examination and their paper will suddenly miss. And the man will say, see me in the office. So I've been a great advocate for the rights of women. I'll remain so till the day I die. So, you should have brought up the issue that is making the rounds. Have you ever wondered, did you take stock when you were with me, when you came to see me with your women leaders? Did you ask me, when did this issue happen? It's only yesterday that I realized that what we are talking about happened only after the change of seats in the Senate. That is when hell was let loose, and all sorts of allegations came up. Only after the change of seats in the Senate and change of the committee, which my senators know happen from time to time. Said to have happened on the 8th of December, a day to my birthday, which was celebrated in the stadium in 2023. So from 8th of December 2023, I never heard, my wife never heard, no Nigerian never heard, even the husband never heard any issue of sexual harassment until our committee was changed, and then her seat was changed, and she went on. Have you ever wondered the trauma caused by that same woman on the other people she had accused in the past? None has been proven so far. You've not wondered. Do you even wonder the trauma caused to the 10th Senate and the image of the Senate with all these useless allegations? I've refrained myself from making a statement. Look at these beautiful women. They've come across me so many times. Have I ever harassed any of you? Or is the person thinking that you are not beautiful? So I don't want to dwell on that. But let me just say that time will tell. If we are in court, the court will decide. My other sister, the one they sometimes refer to as Joy Nuni, I like to mention her name because she'll be hearing from my lawyer anytime in the next 1 week. Crime never dies. When I received a letter from the late Abakari, Chief of Staff, that the certificates were questionable and she did not do national youth service, I wrote to the NYSC. The NYSC responded, and so I quickly changed her before it became a scandal. As soon as she was changed, hell was let loose. She first said, oh, Akpabio wanted me to swear to an oath of allegiance in the villa. And then they told her that the whole villa is wired. She said, what do I say? The next thing she came and said, he tried to touch me, and I slapped him. I'm the first woman in Niger Delta to slap him. So Ruben Abati now said, is it like sexual harassment or rape? She said, no, not rape, maybe something like that. I said, what? Is it sexual harassment? She said, yes, sexual harassment. That's what you want me to pursue. So that I will go and tell the world that she was parading fake NYC certificate. Then I will tell the world that she committed perjury. She lied under oath. And yet I have 4 daughters, and I would like to protect their image. Since people have decided to go into the gutter, let's all go into the gutter. Let's bring out everything so that you see why women also have to note that their attitude will determine their altitude. We can increase the number of women in parliament by our own, by preventing the idea of weaponizing gender. The woman should not be looking at herself as a weaker sex. My second daughter is a very strong woman. She has got her master's, she's doing her PhD right now. She's very strong, probably stronger than me. And she disagrees with me. Deep inside me, sometimes when we argue, and she says, Daddy, you're wrong. I would tell her, I'm older than you. She said, don't use age here. So I'm very proud of my children, and I know that they will do well amongst you. Let's talk to ourselves. Listen to the minister. The minister just suffered from a fellow woman. Put up a woman in any senatorial district today for Senate. Other women will go and vote for the men. You will never vote for yourself. So let's start by questioning you. How come you don't elect your own? Because when the minister was speaking, the minister said that women constitute 51% of the voting population in Nigeria. So why then are you taking the backstage in terms of political representation? Women will never vote for themselves. So ask me, if a woman does not want to vote for a woman, am I the one that will force the woman to go? But we have a solution. We have a solution. I've traveled around. I've seen what is happening in Tanzania. I've seen what is happening in South Africa, Malawi, and so many other countries. They have a certain percentage constitutionally reserved for women. But what they do is that they do it through appointment, particularly in United Arab Emirates and other countries, including Somalia. They put a percentage for women in parliament. And then after the election, those women are added to the number, and they enjoy equal status with the men. Because sometimes, because of religious differences and all sort of issues, women find it difficult to even aspire because their husbands may sack them from the homes. So they make those provisions. We are discussing that in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If it means tinkering with the act to enable women, the Electoral Act, to enable women to have solid say in the parliament, we will do so. Women are better managers. I can say that women are better managers. But sometimes women can be harder than men. Yes, when they take decisions, they take decisions. But they are very prudent in all aspects of life. If you didn't manage us well, we won't even get here. That's a simple truth. Imagine if it was my mother that died and my father was 22 years. Will I be a Senate president today? Because my father would never be at home. But my mother stayed at home and tutored us, suffered, did all sorts of petty jobs, took us through the Civil War, and brought us to where we are. May I so rest in poverty. So mine is to assure you that on this Women's Day, I pledge before you that the National Assembly will work closely with all the women leaders. When I met my sister, I used to admire her and her afro hair on television. And at the time I thought she was working for INEC, such a great woman of integrity. She came with a lot of other women, and I saw them, I was amazed. I said, immediately they called me and said they wanted to see me. I said, come now, come now, come now. And under 40 minutes, I met with them. Because an innocent heart has no qualms and has nothing to fear. But you know, so let me salute our daughters, salute my dear wife, Ekaite Unamagos Akpabio, and salute all the women. The battle is just beginning. We must go back to where we see upward movement of women in all spheres of life. That is the only way I'll have hope and fulfillment, that I've left solid legacies behind in politics, because I've created opportunities for my children. 4 of them are women, to rise to the zenith of their professions in future. We must condemn all issues of sexual harassment that are not fake. We must tell women not to use tears to look for sentiment when they are making false accusations. We must also let women know that governance is not about vanity. So if a common seat can cause the kind of hulubalo, and then you ask why don't you want to move from the seat, and somebody sits on television and says that is the only place that the camera catches me where? Are we doing beauty contests in the Senate? It's a serious place. It's not a place that you come to look for camera to catch you. But we have left room for reconciliation.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm here today with my colleagues because one woman refused to surrender. Even when my father succumbed to the pangs of death, she stood tall against the winds of misfortune. They told her to choose a husband amongst my uncles, and she said she had a son who was 6 months old, that she had chosen to marry that son, since the son was part of that family. So she married me when I was 6 months old and refused to marry any other person. To the greater number of Nigerian women, as we swing the doors open for you, and we put opportunities within your grasp, let it be known that your character, your integrity will be required as you move forward. The fight of the Nigerian woman will not be won by those who seek vanity for vanity's sake, but those who understand the burden of and the responsibility and the weight of leadership entrusted upon them. We need women who will not bicker over trivial things. The women who will go out there with courage to remain role models to future generations. The 10th Senate under my leadership is pro-women. We have given the nation our pledge to revisit and support all gender equality bills which suffered many rejections in previous Senates. The special seats have just discussed with you. We are proposing that. That came up, I think, in the 9th Senate, but this time around, it will become a reality. We must make this happen because the voices of our women must be heard. So I want to thank you and thank the organizers for inviting me to come. There's nothing I will say against a woman and win. But let me say that to God be the glory, that we have a lot of women here who believe strongly in the legal maxim that says, Odi Oterem Patem. Mrs. Olujimi, this is where you belong. Odi Oterem Patem. Let the other side be heard. Congratulations on your Women's Day.
Can we give the President of the Senate with all the assurances of gender equality bill and
My Biredi TV, My Biredi TV, My Biredi TV, faɗakarwa nishaɗi, sai My Biredi TV.
Gagara gasa online TV, My Biredi TV, gidan TV mai faɗakarwa, tare da nishaɗantarwa.